Chosen one, listen closely because this moment is not accidental and this message is not finding you randomly. You have entered a divine moment that exists beyond calendars, beyond seasons, and beyond the limitations of human timing. This is not simply a new chapter in your life. It is an entirely new spiritual dimension where the rules you once lived under no longer apply. You are being lifted out of survival consciousness and brought into a reality where provision is no longer attached to exhaustion, struggle, or endless striving. Heaven is making it clear that the era of pushing, forcing, and overworking just to stay afloat is coming to an end. A turning point has been activated, and from this point forward, receiving replaces striving. You are being invited to rest, not because you have failed, but because divine timing has aligned in your favor. The weight you've been carrying, the pressure to make everything happen on your own, the fear that if you stop, everything will fall apart. None of that belongs in this new dimension. God is asking you to recognize that what is unfolding now has been orchestrated with precision, intention, and love. This message is guided, purposeful, and meant specifically for you. You are hearing it because your spirit is ready to remember a deeper truth. You were never meant to live your life depleted and anxious. As you continue, allow yourself to soften, to listen beyond the words, and to align your energy with what is being revealed. Stay present. Stay open. Engage with this message fully because what you receive here is not information, it is activation. For so long, you have given more than anyone ever saw. You labored quietly, sacrificed endlessly, endured exhaustion without complaint, and kept moving even when your body and spirit begged for rest. The world trained you to believe that your worth was measured by how much you could produce, how busy you stayed, and how tired you were at the end of the day. Burnout was normalized, struggle was glorified, and rest was treated like weakness. But heaven is now interrupting that system entirely. God is stepping in and dismantling the false narrative that suffering equals success. This is the end of hustle as your source. Provision is no longer coming through depletion, and survival is no longer your assignment. You are being introduced to a way of living where supply flows without toil, where rest is not rebellion but obedience. Ease is not laziness, it is alignment. And the guilt you feel when things begin to soften, when life stops demanding so much of you, is not from God. It is residue from a broken system you are being released from. Heaven is calling you out of burnout culture and into divine balance. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to receive without explaining yourself. The old system required you to prove your value through exhaustion. The new system honors you simply because you are chosen. This shift is not about doing less, it's about trusting more. And as you release the need to earn what was always meant to be given, you will feel something profound lift from your spirit. You are now stepping into a divine economy that operates by grace, not grind. This is an economy where provision is governed by favor rather than wages, and where identity determines access more than effort ever could. In this realm, you're not paid according to how hard you work, but provided for according to who you are. The world taught you that reward follows performance, but heaven reveals that supply follows alignment. When your spirit says yes to divine order, the floodgates open naturally. You don't force this economy, you enter it. You don't earn it, you align with it. Saying yes is not about effort, it is about agreement. Agreement that God is your source. Agreement that you are supported. Agreement that you no longer need to chase what has already been assigned to you. And the moment that agreement locks into your spirit, provision begins to flow in ways that feel effortless yet intentional. This divine economy is not random. It is precise. It knows your needs, your capacity, and your calling. And now that you are aligned, you will notice how doors open without resistance, how help arrives without begging, and how resources appear right when they are needed. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. The floodgates are not opening because you struggled enough. They are opening because you finally allowed yourself to believe that you belong here. There is an inheritance with your name on it, and it was set aside long before you ever knew what lack felt like. This inheritance is not symbolic alone. It is tangible, practical, and real. It shows up as debts dissolving, stability forming, and freedom replacing fear. It creates generational security, not just momentary relief. What God is releasing into your life now is meant to silence every voice that doubted you, questioned you, or underestimated you. Not through argument, but through overflow. This provision is not a reward for good behavior or relentless effort. It is chosen, not earned. It is activated now because you are finally ready to carry it without shame, guilt, or self-sabotage. You were not created to barely survive and then call it faith. You were created to live supported, supplied, and secure. This inheritance is not arriving late. It is arriving right on time. And as it manifests, you will realize that nothing you went through was wasted. Every delay matured you. Every struggle refined you. And now the release is proportional to the endurance. This is what it looks like when heaven honors perseverance with peace. Provision in this season will not follow predictable paths. It will come through unexpected channels, surprising sources, and unfamiliar doors. People will locate you without effort. Opportunities will find you without chasing. Resources will arrive without struggle. Divine deposits will appear suddenly, and shifts will happen so quickly that logic won't be able to explain them. Favor will exceed qualifications. Grace will outrun resumes. And heaven will bypass systems that once blocked you entirely. This is what supernatural supply looks like. It moves around obstacles rather than through them. You will receive help from people you didn't know were watching, support from places you didn't think were accessible, and breakthroughs that seem to skip steps altogether. This is not disorder. It is divine efficiency. Heaven is not limited by human approval, and neither is your provision. When God supplies, He does so in ways that leave no room for pride or fear, only gratitude. And as these channels open, you will begin to trust more deeply, not because you understand everything, but because you see the evidence forming all around you. The greatest shift in this season is not external, it is internal. You are learning how to receive without fear, without overthinking, and without sabotaging ease. Control is being replaced with trust. Anxiety is dissolving into assurance. You no longer need to understand every detail to feel safe. Provision is becoming consistent, and consistency is teaching your nervous system how to rest. The panic that once lived in your body is being replaced with peace, and that peace is allowing flow to stabilize. You are remaining open, willing, and receptive, not because you are passive, but because you are aligned. Receiving is now your strength. You are no longer bracing for loss or waiting for things to fall apart. You are learning how to expect support, how to welcome ease, and how to trust that what is good can last. This is how provision becomes the new normal, not through force, but through familiarity. Rest in this season is not retreat, it is resistance. It is your refusal to participate in fear-driven systems. Stillness is no longer stagnation, it is preparation. Quiet seasons are not delays, they are orchestration. What feels like isolation is actually insulation. You are being protected while things align behind the scenes. Divine timing is not slow, it is exact. Peace is now your weapon because it keeps you aligned when others panic. While the world rushes, You remain steady. While systems shake, you remain grounded. This calm is not ignorance, it is authority. And the more you honor rest, the more clarity emerges. You are not missing anything. You are being positioned. When alignment locks in, acceleration follows naturally. What once required years now happens in weeks. What once took 10 steps now takes 1. Effort decreases while results increase. Heaven's acceleration touches your time, your finances, and your opportunities simultaneously. You are being released from paycheck to paycheck thinking and trained to expect continuity. This is kingdom abundance, where supply is perpetual and peace is constant. You are not racing anymore. You are moving with precision. And because you are aligned, momentum carries you forward without exhaustion. This is what happens when divine order replaces human pressure. Provision now responds to your presence. Your energy attracts miracles. Your frequency opens doors. You no longer need to beg, compete, or perform for access. Identity is the key. Who you are carries weight, and your life becomes the testimony, not your explanations. People will see ease on you. They will feel peace around you, and they will wonder how you do it. You will know the answer is not effort, it is alignment. You are not chasing opportunities anymore. You are the opportunity. Survival is no longer your reference point. Overflow is. Financial rest replaces stress. Unexpected deposits, gifts, and cancellations become familiar. Peace and provision arrive together. Overflow sustains rather than shocks. You stop reacting and start resting. You stop scrambling and start stewarding. This is not excess for ego. It is abundance for stability. And it holds. As pressure lifts, creativity returns. Ideas download effortlessly. You create from joy, not fear. Your divine assignment carries divine compensation. Multiplication happens without burnout. Alignment restores passion, clarity, and inspiration. You move because you're led, not because you're afraid. And what you touch multiplies because it's rooted in peace. You no longer match grind culture. Rest is strategy, not risk. You flourish instead of hustle. Your life becomes evidence of divine provision. Peace becomes the proof. You move differently. You live differently. And people notice, not because you announce it, but because it's visible. This is not temporary. You have crossed over. The survival identity is released. Your position in divine flow is established. Provision now responds to identity, not effort. And this flow cannot be stopped. You are no longer returning to the old way. Years of worry are healed. Emotional and spiritual restoration unfolds. Endurance is rewarded with ease. Wealth arrives without shame. You are not apologizing for peace. What was lost is redeemed. What was delayed is restored. Provision is unconditional. Divine supply is permanent. Fear leaves your body. Scarcity dissolves. Heaven rewrites your life. You were created to thrive, not strive. Stay in peace. Stay in trust. Nothing more is required. The flow has only begun. You are sealed as chosen, supported, and fully provided for.